Right. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss about the functionalities in context to the payments is concerned, because payments is one kind of domain which is actively participating in the banking segment. Whenever we are providing some banking solutions for any of the customer requirements, it's always important for us to perform even payment activities, because there are different payment processes nowadays we are following, even for domestic as well as international payments, even valid payments, right? So BNPL related stuff like buy now pay later, right? So there are different payment services and as well as payment options available across industry. In regard to that, whenever we try to understand about the payment domain part, so whatever we are going to discuss today about the payment functionality. So what are the high level functionalities which I am explaining now? So the detailed functionalities and how this can be implemented and all everything in the next session I am going to discuss. But in today's session, I am going to discuss about the functionalities. So what are the different functionalities do we have? So there are multiple functionalities in context to the payments application when we are developing. Especially this is as a business analyst, whenever we are working on this, it's always important for us to identify the functional requirements, because based on the business situation what we have identified, so we need to come up with some functional requirements and all. These are the high level requirements. The first one about the single solution, wherein we should able in a position to provide a single solution for any of the customer, which must be having an ability to support all kind of payment types, because as I told you, there are different payment types will be there. Either it can be a card payment, or it can be a wallet payment, or it can be the payments like international transfers like Swift, SEPA, right? So all these things are comes under this category. At the same time, payment market categorization followed by harmonizing and as well as standardizing the payments is what something we have to do. This is what generally the first and foremost functional requirements which we need to understand. Next, we can increase the automation part. So increasing automation is also one of the functionality we need to define, because whatever the STP rates do we have, or else if there is any kind of exception management or automated repair. So these are all the activities we need to be focused whenever we are working on increasing automation, etc. All that. So this is one more functionality which, being a business analyst, we need to be focused and we have to provide, because STP rates may vary from uh, place to place. At the same time, whatever the automated repair, because there must be an functionality we need to develop in such a way. If there is any kind of repair to be made, it has to be repaired automatically. I'm talking about the major one, minor ones. Major ones has to be addressed over a period of time, because this is a continuous process which has to be followed by us in regular intervals. This is what something, the second functionality we need to develop. The third functionality is about optimizing the processing part, because when we are going to create any kind of payment process flow and all, there must be a flexible orchestration flow is required, so that there won't be any kind of complexity when they are running any kind of payment flows, etc. So hence, it's always important to create a flexible orchestration flow. At the same time, whatever the kind of intelligent routing, or at the same time Nostro quotas and all everything will also becomes under the optimized processing part. So process optimization is one of the core and important element apart from the other functionalities, which being a BA, we have to be performed whenever we are working on payments. Next, configuration part, because if you are a BA, of course, we are not the administrator role, but when it comes to the uh, domain specific itself is concerned, we must be knowing about the configurability ability, right? So we need to create a functionality for configuration, because when we are integrating or we are configuring an application according to the business rules and government's mandates for any of the customer requirements, there must be a functionality for configuration, which is always important. Because, for example, you want to set up a product, payments related domain product you want to set up. Or else if you want to create multiple business process flows for every business activity, whatever is happening in the payments and all. At the same time, you need to create an orchestration process so that this configuration process and all everything will be helpful in a more specific manner. At the same time, business entities, whatever the different business entities that particular customer belongs to. So that business entities and all everything will also be taken into consideration. Next, when it comes to the fees and charges, because these fees and charges and all everything may be varied, because as you know, whenever we are working on the payments part in context to the fees and charges and all everything, may vary depends on the rules and regulations as well as the payment as well as the fee structure, brokeraging, commissions, right? So all these things are comes under configurability part. Followed by this, we need to enhance the customer servicing because SLA management and monitoring is one of the key and important element, especially when we are working on the payments. Because if you want to target the products or if you want to perform any kind of data sharing, right? So to multiple systems, right? So we need to provide some enhancing customer servicing is all something needed. Because when we have created a customer servicing, it is always helpful for the customers to perform this much better. This is where generally this customer servicing comes into existence. Next, quicker time to market means if you want to uh, create a functionality for the customer in such a way where they should able in a position to set up and roll out new services because new services will keep on coming into the market, right? So depends on the market needs. Customer might require to add some new services to the existing repository what they are maintaining. So this is where generally this quicker time to market comes into picture. Next, one of the important functionality we need to perform is to advanced risk management. Because when it comes to the advanced risk management and all, how the operational as well as the market cutoffs do we have, followed by the kind of prioritizations or liquidity. All these things are comes under the advanced risk management. This is what something which we have to be seen, right? So whatever the liquidities do we have, right? So what kind of prioritization we want to make, everything has to be taken into consideration here. Next, we need to address the frauds and security transactions because when there is a payment domain specific application you are developing, so we need to address the fraud and security sanctions because payment transactions happen from one system to another system. There are possibilities, sometimes it may be misused, right? So misused and all, there are possibilities of fraud or else it can be some malware attacks, all that, right? So addressing the fraud and security sanctions, it should also be updated in the functional documentation or something. Next, false positive rates. If there is any kind of rates you want to mention and all, there must be an positive rates we have to mention and make sure to eradicate whatever the false promising rates and all everything will be added into this. Last but not least, we need to create some user experience wherein we have to provide some real-time analytical reports and all everything so that if there is any kind of decisions to be taken by the customer will be more easier for them to take the decisions. So these are the payment functionalities. So which being a business analyst, we need to identify from the high level note. And how these are being implemented, what are the different elements which are involved in all these functionalities and all. So that I'm going to discuss in tomorrow's session. One by one, I'm going to discuss about in tomorrow's session, all that. Right. So this is all about this session. If you have any questions, please go ahead.